In this video, we're going to talk about some of the simpler fungi. So let's start with the phylum Glomeromycota. The fungi in this phylum form what we call mycorrhizae, and more specifically, they form arbuscular mycorrhizae, which is also known as endomycorrhizae. And we'll talk a little bit more about these kind of specific terms in a different video. But generally speaking, mycorrhizae is a symbiotic relationship between a fungus and a plant. And symbiotic relationships can take different forms. In this case, the relationship is mutualistic. This means that the plant benefits from the relationship and the fungus also benefits from the relationship. So the roots of the plant provide the fungus with carbohydrates and energy because remember, plants can do photosynthesis. So they can capture energy from the sun and store that energy in the bonds of carbohydrates. The plant benefits from the fungus because the fungus provides the plant with minerals from the soil. Remember that fungi are decomposers, also known as saprobes, which means that they can break down more complex compounds into their smaller components. And then it can provide these components to the plant to use to then rebuild bigger molecules. Now, in this relationship, both the plant and the fungus are completely dependent on each other. So you couldn't take the fungus away from the plant without the fungus and the plant both dying. About 90% of vascular plants have this mutualistic relationship with the Glomeromycota. The fungi in this phylum only reproduce asexually, and they have aseptate hyphae. And remember that hyphae are these kind of long extensions underground that make up the majority of the fungus. And aseptate means that there are not septa. Remember, if there's an A in front of a word, it typically means without. So what happens in the hyphae is that cells go through mitosis without completing cytokinesis. So what you end up with are these big, long cells that have multiple nuclei in them. And so these hyphae they're individual cellular structures, but they have multiple nuclei. So this would be the cell membrane / cell wall of the hypha cell. And then these are the nuclei. The simplest and most primitive of the fungi are the Chytridiomycota, also known as chytrids. Some chytrid fungal cells have both chitin and cellulose in their cell walls. Remember, chitin is in the cell wall of all fungi, but in this case, cellulose, which is similar to or the same polysaccharide found in plant cells, really plant cell walls, might also be found in some of the cells associated with some of the different species of chytrids. Most chytrids are unicellular, although some form multicellular organisms with aseptate hyphae. Remember, aseptate means without septa. So that would be shown in this picture here. And so what we're looking at is a single cell. So the outside here would be the cell membrane, cell wall. And each of these dots would be a nucleus because the cell has gone through mitosis where the nucleus has basically copied itself and then split in two, but cytokinesis did not occur. This is also the only group of fungi that have flagella, and the flagella allow the gametes to swim around in their environment. Chytrid fungi can conduct sexual and asexual reproduction. They are mostly found in aquatic environments, although some are found in terrestrial environments. Some types of chytrids are saprobes. Remember, saprobes are just our decomposers. So these are the fungi that break down dead material. And some chytrid are parasites, and they are especially dangerous to amphibians. And we will talk about this more when we talk about detrimental fungi.